I gotta make this video quick, but I'm gonna do another collector video for one of my favorite systems of all time, and one I've just recently started collecting again, and its successor also, but the original Xbox. Very great system. Unfortunately mine has a crack there, but it's in good condition otherwise. But this is a great system, released in 2001, we all know the story behind it, so let's just jump right into it. I love this console. It's a lot of good games for it. Xbox Live was amazing back in the day, but of course you can't use it anymore, which is unfortunate. You can't get the DLC either. But quickly, let's run through all the accessories, and just to let you guys know, there are variants of this system, but they're few and far between. There are no design changes. There's no slim of this system, but they did release a clear green version for the Halo bundle, a light green, not clear, variant for Mountain Dew bundle, and there were a few other bundles that are harder to find. This is what I know they released the Duke controller. I do not own one, and I would not recommend it, but this is the controller I recommend. The S controller, the Xbox S controller, which is pretty similar to the 360 one. I prefer the 360 one, but this is still an excellent controller. A major difference, of course, is it just says Xbox there. That's not a button. There's no guide system. Well, there kind of is in Halo 2, but then the black and white buttons instead of bumpers. These also do have breakaway cables at the end of them, which is very nice, so you don't tear your system away and mess it up or destroy your game, and also so you don't tear the cable. And it's also just kind of nice to take off if you're trying to store it. I would highly advise, also, there are the two expansion slots on the top. One of them is for a memory card. I don't own it, and there's really no reason to have one for this system, because they're only like 64 meg. Actually, I think it's less than that, which a lot of the game saves are too big for it, like Knights of the Old Republic. But you have this Xbox communicator piece, sorry. Excuse my voice, I'm gonna have to drink something again. Oh, my voice gets dry after a while. But that pops in there, and then has the same plug as the 360, and you can just plug your headset into it. So, problem with these is that they like to snap a lot. The little connector piece that holds to that likes to snap. But that's basically it for the controller. I would steer away from third-party controllers for this system. They don't have breakaway cables most of the time. They don't have the Xbox logo, and it likes to tear away whenever they have the fake ones there. And the joystick gets stuck here, as we can see. But yeah. Also, the triggers are really squeaky and hard to press down. Of course, everyone knows that you can play these original Xbox titles on the 360. Everyone has probably done that at some point. You have to have a hard drive, and you have to download the update from Xbox Live to get more games than the first two Halo games. Or you can download the disc, or download the file online and put it on a CD, and then pop that in your Xbox. Maybe I'll do a video eventually. So let's get into the games. I will first show off the definitive franchise for the Xbox, and some of the best sellers on the system come from this franchise. And that should not be a surprise, which is, of course, I can't even find it, there it is, Halo Combat Evolved. This is a very great game, very cheap title, even though I have a very rare version of it. I have one of the original launch versions of this game from 2001. There are multiple ways to tell. The first off is that it does not have any Game of the Year awards or any stickers saying bestseller or any ratings down here. It's the plain case. It's not platinum hits. The manual has a darker logo than the actual case does, and the disc itself. And also, it has the classic players 1 through 4 and Xbox System Link icons on the back there. And the disc has the a more abrasive material than later on ones. But highly recommend this game. You have to have this if you own an Xbox. If you don't, then I don't know. But it is in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinions, that the sequel was much better, and at least in my opinion, this is the best multiplayer game ever made. Halo 2. This is my original, actually my original copy is the Platinum Hits version. Still has the same case and everything, with the crack corner. These are the original ones I used during the Chaos War too. And this is an excellent game, pick it up. Also, one thing to note about collecting these games is sometimes they will come with Xbox Live trial codes, like this one does. Pretty cool. They will not work on a 360 or an Xbox One. The codes have expired since, and they do not register because of the system. They can only be used for new accounts also. And also, if you try to scratch them off, the numbers are so blurry because they're so old that you won't even be able to see it, and you'll just kind of ruin the value of it. I would not recommend doing that. And I have a second copy of regular Halo 2. They both work. I just bought this for System Link Gaming, and that was backup. And Halo 2 Platinum Hits. This was released as late as 2008. Best-selling Xbox game ever, of course. It plays on 360, of course, and it has the white design and Platinum Hits. There was also Best of Platinum Hits and Family Platinum Hits. I do not have any of those because they're kind of hard to find, and there are not many games had them. And one of the best ideas ever was to release a Halo 2 multiplayer map pack for people that didn't have Xbox Live. This has 9 new maps, and it updates your game, which actually totals the maps to 10 because of Foundation being glitched in the original. Has bonus everything. Cheap. I highly recommend this if you play Halo 2 online. It's just a cool collector's item, and the bonus stuff is neat, and it's even just kind of cool to walk through the maps, or to super bounce. Super bouncing is a big thing in those games. Sorry about my voice. On to some more games. Here's just an oddball title I've picked up for cheap. I have this for other systems. I played this a lot when I was younger. Cars. Fun little game. It's very cheap. If you're a collector, pick it up. It's not hard to find at all. Same with Star Wars Episode 3, which actually is rated T. This is actually not a bad game. The dual mode is pretty fun too. I have some games without cases here I forgot to show. Half-Life 2, it's in that little weird thing. I've shown this before. In Blu-ray cases for some reason. Grand Theft Auto Vice City, which is classic, and another Valve game, Counter-Strike. Very good shooter and one of the most popular games on Xbox Live. At the time, of course. Lego Star Wars, the video game. As you can see, I like this. But this is a classic game to me. These are very good games, even still. And I had, for the PS2, of course, I still have my original copy, but I got that when I was 5 for my birthday. So, awesome game. And the sequel was also great, even though I believe the first one was better. More Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas. Great game. Highly recommend it. Even though I would recommend it on PC if you can get the 1.0 version for SAMP and everything. And Grand Theft Auto 3. Both are better on Xbox and PC than PS2. This game is kind of hard to find, actually. At least this version of it. The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind Game of the Year Edition. Costs a bit. I was lucky to get mine pretty cheap. And yeah, comes with the map and everything. Comes with both of the expansions right on the disc. It's not a separate disc. A lot of people actually confuse that. They never ever released Tribunal or Blood Moon on Xbox Live. It was only on this disc. But yet, awesome game, and the DLC makes it better. One of the best, or a very early title, and one of the best on the system, in my opinion, and guess who made it? THQ. MotoGP, awesome. And you want to know what's cool? This is so neat. This game also comes with 2 labels, like the sleeve there, it comes with 2 variants of it, so you can switch it out. But this comes with a GameStop receipt still in it. It's very faded away, but yeah, he paid $50 for it. His card expired. He had American Express. It was bought in Phoenix, Arizona, and his card expires on in March 2004. He paid $50 or $54.04 with tax, of course. Or that was with tax. It was $50. It was $49.99 actually without it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. He bought it at 4568 E Cactus Road in Phoenix. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, awesome game. Just thought I'd show that. An interesting label variation for Xbox Live stuff is As time went on, they went from being really thin, that orange band, to being thick. And the online enabled is part of that black area, whereas later the online enabled was part of the orange band, and only the live was in the black. There was a transitional phase where it was thick and had the live online enabled in the black. Interesting little thing. Also, they changed it from being like that, of course, with the smaller little icons for the players 1 to 4 or whatever, to bigger ones, and it also differentiated between Xbox Live and single player. Star Wars: The Clone Wars and Tetris Worlds. Good bundle. Both good games. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Lockdown. It's alright. It's okay. Late title. Much better is Black Arrow. Classic. Classic game. And also pretty good is Rainbow Six 3. Speaking of third installments, here's my Doom 3. Actually, this is the Japanese version of it. I have 2 versions of it. And there's a Doom 3 Limited Collector's Edition for the NTSC. Very cool, comes with the first 2 Doom games. And NFL 2K3, very good sports title, an early Xbox Live title as well. And its sequel is much better than one of my favorite games of all time, Deuce. ESPN 2K, NFL 2K4. Best football game ever, like I've said. And its basketball version as well. I got this game in 2015 at Walmart for $15. 2015, I got this game at a Walmart. It had been sitting there for 11 plus years. Now, another great game is Forza Motorsport. This is a classic game. I highly recommend it. It's a very good racing title for the original Xbox, and it spawned a huge franchise. Even though I believe the second and third games are better. Didn't really care for 4 or 5, or I've never played 6. And 2 awesome shooter games, which are also kind of hard to find. Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2. Classic games. I know these were printed out on the computer, the cases, but, yeah. And the discs are platinum hits, so here you go. Both excellent games. The first one cost about $15, disc only, and the second one I paid $70 for with only the disc, not even the manual. Not even the manual. $70. I think it's a bit less pricey now, but it went back up in price. If you can track it down for a decent price, go for it, but it's hard to find. Well, it's not hard to find, it's just an expensive, pricey game, but, yeah. So that's all my games for the original Xbox. Has a very good library, in my opinion. A lot of good games, and we saw a bunch of different variations of labels and whatnot, like Platinum Hits. Of course, they had the steel cases, which is cool. Yeah, so there are things to keep in mind there. Also, this has a pretty active European collecting scene as well. Of course, there is a lot of stuff missing now that Xbox Live is gone, which is why I'd recommend hunting down the official Xbox Magazine discs for DLC and getting the Halo 2 multiplayer map pack. So that's about it for this video. I have, like, no time left, so I guess I'll talk to you guys later. So, great system, and I'd recommend getting all the games I've shown here, whether you are a collector or not. Of course, it's your choice to get them, and you can pick out whatever you want, but there's a lot here. As we've seen, there are a lot of different genres of games, almost everything. And there's a lot more than this, trust me. There's a huge RPG scene, there's a huge shooter scene, there's a lot more you can find, but this is just the brunt of it, so catch you guys later.